All right, guys, here to talk about The Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 13.
Lucky 13.
Jeez.
Which I actually watched on Friday the 13th.
Oh, me, oh, my. So this episode is interesting.
It is interesting. That is the word that I would use to try to be polite.
So we... Where does it open? What is the beginning of this episode?
Oh, dear Lord. It opens, we like backtrack a little bit. We see Morgan hearing the beep, and then everyone beeps to like signal that the saviors are a-coming.
Yeah.
All that stuff. We get a little thing, which we'll touch on, I think, maybe more later, or maybe right now. Morgan's seeing Gavin's ghost with his neck hole, wearing like loose-fitting clothing.
Yeah,
and saying,
"You
know what it is."
Yeah, what does that even mean?
Keep shouting.
Like, what he should be doing?
Okay, I'm glad
what
that
the deal is.
I'm glad that you're confused too, because at one point he says it should have been you to him, and then
he means that killed him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Instead of
letting the
Henry.
boy do it. Yeah.
Right.
He's ruined this boy. The boy is now off on a path,
And,
and we don't even know where the boy is.
And we're getting the vibe like, oh, this is Morgan feeling guilty. That's fine. But kind of like I would do anything for love, but I won't do that or whatever. It takes so long. Like, he only says it should have been you like once, and then he just keeps saying, you know what it is? And I'm like, you know what it is? Like, what's wrong with Henry? You know that it should have been you? Is that all part of the same thing? Is something else you know what it is?
I don't know. It was dumb. I don't like when a show changes the path. I know Morgan's been crazy, then not crazy, then crazy again, then a pacifist, then not a pacifist, then a murderer, then a crazy person. But he's taken a lot of turns for the amount of seasons he's been in. You know what I mean? Like, he's been in, 3, 4 seasons, and he's out of his mind.
And he's been crazy, but I thought the craziness now manifested as, clear, and he goes around and, like, has to fucking do his ritualistic murdering and burning of zombies and all that stuff, which I appreciate. But this is, like, a new type of crazy, maybe? Was he seeing his dead wife long after he killed her, or no?
Only because she was outside. She was
no, long after he killed her zombie.
Oh, I don't think so.
Right? And I don't like when people see people. I didn't like when Rick saw Lori and all that stuff. I've never been crazy, but I don't even know if people literally see people like that. Is that normal? It's not normal, but I don't even think it's really crazy.
I don't think anyone it's happened to has been in the position that it should be happening to them.
Okay, good.
Like, if you were like bludgeoned in the head, suffering a crazy amount of blood loss, I'm like, oh yeah, you might see some shit. I buy that. This, yes. I'm like, you're so distraught right now that you're seeing things
from like guilt. You're just seeing a fake person,
no.
and like all of reality should be breaking down because Negan just clocked you, right? You should be bleeding and like concussed, and you should be like, Lori, and like, what the fuck, right? And then like, we don't know what's real anymore, and you answer the phone, it's somebody, and you're like, what? Yeah. It should be this whole like thing, not like I'm doing my thing and then I turn over and Gavin's there again and he's like, you know what it is, and you're like,
no. And like, I like Gavin, I like that he's still getting paid, but I think it's dumb.
I liked that character.
I think it's dumb.
I hate when that happens, right? When it's like, I like that character, it's a shame they killed him. Oh, check IMDb, he's back as a fucking ghost flashback bullshit. Fuck.
No.
No, so we talked about it now.
I totally believe that it's that just, that he's saying you should have killed me myself.
It should have been you,
and
whatever.
Like, that boy you can see is already sliding down the rails here. We just to cut forward into his arc.
Yeah, we can jump around. I took way too many notes. I'm fucked here.
So he steals a gun, hides it, and then goes to the pen that we have the captured saviors in. And instead of staying on the outside of the pen like a smart person who has a projectile weapon, he goes in. Gets overpowered. Zombies are there at the same time.
Zombies are in the pen somehow.
Well, anybody who got cut would have turned into a zombie.
Did they show that a prisoner got cut? They may have. I was a little turned around during the fighting. But, fuck.
I'm sure it could have happened. Or even...
I'm okay with it, but also, like, okay, so... I hate this episode. I've hated the last few episodes. There's so many things wrong here. They like relish. They like do a tight shot of him with the key in the lock and opening it or like whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And if they didn't open it, then the fact that there's zombies in there with them would have fucked everything up because they couldn't have gotten out. It would have been this like weird situation, right? Or you could have done something with that and had some drama.
I think you could have made it better.
Right?
If you should have played him as a smart character, kept on the outside of the cage. He has the key. He's trying to find out the person that killed his brother. He's talking to the same characters the exact same way he talked to now, and you have the same wise-ass character. You have the same good one. You have the same former mayor idiot guy. But then the zombie outbreak happens in there, and they're like, all right, I'll tell you, shot your brother. Just let us out, let us out. And then you could have had the same thing, only it would have been smarter.
Use it as like a pivot point, right?
Yes.
Because you have to get the door open.
Instead of a coincidence point.
Like you can't have them break out, because that makes it look dumb that they were just in there the whole time. There's 38 of them. It's crazy.
Well, no. It's not dumb. It's not dumb. Hang on.
Okay.
Because the only reason any of this was able to happen was because the guard was bit. Did he fall in, and is that how it spread?
Did they show that? Maybe.
The guard,
Are we idiots?
the guard was on top of the wall, and he was knotted off, and it looks like he's sleeping when the kid comes up, but he was actually probably turning into a zombie.
Did they show him fall in there, though?
I don't remember seeing that.
So
it's possible.
I want to issue a disclaimer now that I'm going to say one dumb thing at least, where
I'll allow one dumb thing.
I missed something happening. No, even like one dumb thing that you don't even catch. I mean, like I'm going to say several dumb things. There's going to be at least one where I just fucking missed something because it was so dark and there's so much shit happening, and I'm just like, God, fuck. All these things or whatever. No, so we end with Henry on the ground. I was like, why doesn't the good prisoner rush over to the kid? Where is he running to? What are they doing? He's not trying to close the doors yet. The doors, wait, what? What the fuck's happening?
Yeah,
I was like, what are you doing?
Those guys are holding the doors. Some of the saviors left, so they opened the doors to leave.
Yes.
And then zombies rushed in instantly.
Right.
And then they were holding the doors. And I'm like, okay, I guess that makes sense.
Does it?
No.
I don't know.
It doesn't.
Because how did that's what I'm saying. Like, how did, because saviors just left and they just closed the doors. They might have thrown one insert shot of there being zombies outside trying to get in, but
couldn't afford that.
You just handle that during the day though? Like, what's going on? I don't know why they were there. I don't know.
No, it was weird.
But so, like, good prisoner should have gone to help kid, who would have been like, oh, you were right, I'm an idiot. And he's like, it's okay, man, we all make mistakes. Let's go find your, like, friends and then do something or something like that, right?
I think the kid was being kidnapped by the long-haired guy, and you're going to find him say, like,
sure.
I killed your brother. I'm going to kill you, too. Ah.
No, and the kid has to be missing, and there has to be some shit that happens, right?
Yeah,
so
you need some sort of a plot.
Yeah, so we had to get there. But why not have someone scream, and then good prisoner goes, uh-oh, like some woman screaming somewhere. Could be like Maggie or anyone, right? He just sees something and goes, wait, I can help, and then runs over and maybe grabs Jeff, Fred, some other people that we're trying to shove into the show now, some other new characters, and have them run off. And that's why he doesn't help the kid. And then just cut away from the kid. Don't show the kid on the ground with, being like, I hit my head, I don't know, am I going to...
Of my concerns, was the smallest
That's just
one.
I was gonna say that's just one tiny scene. I don't know how long this video should be. Like 2 hours.
Like,
of
I
me
know
bitching about everything in the
summertime. It is warm. They have a fence. They're still in a zombie apocalypse and under constant war. Why are doors fucking just left ajar?
That shot of the door open and the zombies coming in bothered me so much. There's already people inside that are turning. And everyone's sleeping in this room. Why did you need the door to be open? And why is the door open? And why are there no, like...
Why are they all sleeping in the same room? If it's very hot, why don't they sleep outside? Why are they sleeping in a huddled mass like we're the fucking where the wild things are?
Because that shows some sort of foresight about the situation that they're in, maybe, right? You can argue for that, right? Except this fucking outbreak breaks out and, like, there's no one waking up, there's no alarms, there's not posted people.
A dude fell down the stairs, full bore.
When that dude fell down the stairs, I was so upset because I'm like, well, everyone's awake now. There's no more, like, a zombie snuck up on me. A dude fell down the stairs. What the fuck's going on, right? But, like, you just chased the saviors away. They could have gone around the corner, taken a leak, reloaded whatever weapons they had, or like the guy with the guns could have shown up, and they could be back an hour later, right? But everyone's just asleep. There's no one posted. There's no one who notices when these things fuck up. Like, zombies are allowed to just crawl around and, like, bite all these different people just so you can kill all these extras.
It was right after you just established that you've killed almost all the saviors. You have, like, 2 cars load of saviors left, period, and maybe a Negan somewhere. So you have, like, 11 saviors left. And you're like, all right, we finally have the numbers. We have the place. They have to come to us. We have the high ground. We have a fence. We have all this cool shit. And they're like, hey, how can we kill almost everybody off? Really dumb zombie shit.
You think it was that to get back down to the
I think you have to, because or else if you don't kill off, I think as you're writing this as a script and you're like, all right, so at this point I have 35 good guys and 11 bad guys. Well, That's not going to work for me, because if it's not always remotely equal, you have a real shift in how things are going to work. We got too many nameless facelesses. Let's just kill them.
My assumption was that there's a lot more saviors somewhere else.
Well, there were
viable?
35 saviors in the pen.
38.
38. And maybe 8
okay.
of them are with us still.
Yeah.
And they're going to join
Reasonable.
Hilltop.
Yeah, and like a few may have died, a few might have whatever. There's a solid 20 more coming back maybe. But Simon was like, fuck those guys. Are they even going to go back with
I don't know.
No, but I thought that there were more saviors even apart from that and that. I thought this was
Where?
Because back at Savior headquarters, right?
I think all of them were in this attack. I don't think there's that many left.
They were leaving and like mounting up.
Workers, maybe.
Yeah, but there have to be people there to like keep the workers in line and keep everything going or whatever. Like the number of saviors has been a problem for 2 seasons or whatever. We've been seeing a lot of extras in one shot and then having like 8 people show up to do something. I'm not saying I know how many saviors there are.
When we first encountered the saviors and they were blocking all the bridges and the roads,
yes.
I'm like, oh, there's hundreds of them.
Exactly. But a lot
it's
of
been
them
a
dying,
long
I guess.
season, and people die naturally in zombie world and this and that. I'm sure someone got an iron to their face. Well, I don't know. So you're thinking that there are more, based on what we know, there's like at least 30 left.
I guess, like, it can't just be 10 guys, because Dwight and Simon and all of them would have been like, well, we're fucked. What are we doing? Why are we doing this? This is ridiculous. There's 10 guys.
Oh, well, when they attacked, though, there were like 40 of them attacking.
Even 40. Like, I feel like that, there's more people at home. Enough people, and not just, useless people, but people, right? Because there's Eugene, there's the wives, and there's whoever, right? Like, Gavin's dead, but Gavin had people. Like, everyone, I haven't kept track. This is like the weakest area that I can.
We need a Walking Dead RTS game where you can be like, all right, how many do I have left?
How many
Perfect.
saviors? How much does it cost to train a Rick?
Yeah.
I need just a team of Ricks. No, I don't. I don't want a team of Ricks. Maybe a team of Daryls.
Team of Daryls.
Team of Daryls is pretty solid. They'd like argue with each other though.
That'd be silent though.
They'd be silent but deadly.
It would be a bunch of like one-offs.
There are so many more problems.
What do you got?
This one's easy. They shoot out the lights and sit quietly. Saviors walk forward into the open. More bullshit.
Yeah.
That's a note.
Well, the saviors, for whatever reason, were like, all right, they're fleeing. Because they've done it once before, so I'm like, okay, it's not unheard of. But the idea that how they walked, I can't see shit, audibly said by their leader. Let's just keep marching. And then just, like, lights kick on.
And they go,
oh,
shit. Like, how could they have done this? Oh, they outsmarted us. Oh, shit. I was so upset. I'm so sick of shootouts in general. I don't want this show to be about shootouts. Honestly, the only good part about everyone coming to life and, like, being a zombie was like, oh, like in a zombie show. You just have a bunch of zombies to deal with, right? And, like, how'd the zombie get in here, right? And that would be the kind of problem you would deal with. Some would say the most common problem you'd likely have to deal with. I'm sick of shooting, right? All the time.
I don't mind it when it makes sense. Like, I like a good trap as much as the next guy, but
sure.
I like when things come together. We're like, oh, didn't see that coming, but that never happens in the show. I see everything coming. You're like, all right.
One good shot. I wrote down like a few notes of like, oh, that's a good shot.
Okay, what do you got?
When Carol's ex-boyfriend gets slashed or whatever, right? He shoots and then goes back and then goes to shoot again, but there's a guy like right fucking there. And I was like, awesome. An actual good thing. That is how life works, and I fucking love that.
Yep.
That's how life works in video games and in real life, and I love because I haven't seen that in a while. I haven't seen that happen. Or if you see it, the guy just instantly like kung fu's the guy and like everything's fine. But this is great. Someone got the drop on him, right? He just anticipated, and like you as the audience member and like him were both looking far, but there was a dude really close and like fucked with him, and like he got
that was good.
I was like, good.
Almost expected it though.
Exactly.
You gotta say.
Something had to happen.
You're like, there's no, because you knew that there was going to be a good amount of slashies because they're going to spread that zombie virus.
Let's talk about this.
Sure.
This bothered me a lot too.
What do you got?
So Negan is like, so we have timeline problems, but we always do, right? Okay. They signal it's broad daylight. Saviors are driving. It's broad daylight. They wait until night to attack. That's fine, I guess. And they have Simon say, I'm getting sick of waiting. And I'm like, okay, they want you to say like they waited or whatever, right? But like these people were ready. Where were they waiting? Why would they drive all that time just to wait? Why don't you leave so that you're going to get there when it's dark? And honestly, shouldn't you be late if you have to waste some time looking for Negan, who's dead maybe? Why are you getting there? It's day. What's going on, right? Okay. He gets there, and then he like gives the speech to like reiterate, "We're not here to do the bullshit plan Negan had. We're Negan though. We're now the plan is extermination, right?" And I'm like, "Okay, good." And there's a line in his speech where he says, "Even though we do not have munitions, we are still looking for kill shots or whatever." And I'm like, "You didn't bring guns? You didn't bring your guns?"
Yeah, that struck me as
What are you
strange too.
doing?
Where I was like, "Oh, you really don't see any of them firing like at all." And I was
Yes.
like, "What's up with that?" I'm like, "Are they so reliant upon spreading the virus as their primary
Well,
here?"
They had a plan, and the plan worked. And honestly, we talked last time, like, this is how I see this working. You are at, like, war with people, you just fight them, and then you just fall back with, like, okay, this is a good time to fall back, this is acceptable. And then they have to be like, well, now I have to murder my friends that got dinged, winged or whatever.
Yeah.
Or I have to deal with they're going to turn or not. This is horrible. This is, like, psychological. This is terrifying, right? I like that. That's all good. But he literally, so, like, they all got back in the car. Our leader might be dead. We didn't bring our guns. I'm going to say several times, we're looking to kill all these motherfuckers, right? But we didn't bring the guns, and I'm not going to go back for them, and I'm not going to wait, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just still going to go, and we're going to fucking shoot bow and arrows against people with, like, assault rifles, and that's going to be my plan. That's the worst plan ever.
The not bringing the guns thing is strange, especially with how the attack worked. If it was going to be a surprise attack, the arrows and shit make sense.
Sure.
But you still have the guns, because once they know you're there, you switch to the guns. But
Yes.
where are the guns?
I expected the longbowmen, right, to like reach behind them and pull a pistol out of their belts, right? Something. But
Yeah.
people didn't seem to have. Simon has a hatchet. I'm like, what are we doing?
It was very goofy. Very goofy.
That's goofy.
And like you'd think afterwards when after you've regrouped, you'd be like, you know why we lost? They all had guns.
Which is so like, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you would obviously want guns. You would obviously want to fight at like a maximum capacity. But you can also dip your weaponry in shit and have it all go
Yeah, I don't see why that wouldn't happen also.
Feel free. It's fine. And you need that, like, fallback plan. Simon's supposed to be the one who's like, Negan's pussyfooting around, I'm here to get shit done.
Yeah, and he was the ultimate, like, what, are you kidding me?
Just because the plot and, like, the script well, we have to get him there, but not with guns, but he does want to kill people, but then the same shit happens that Negan would have done anyway, but Negan has to not be there, but what's going on? Well, like, I don't understand what the point of all this was.
There was not a point. It ended up like fruitless on all sides. You ended up back kind of where you began.
And they have to develop the character of Carol's ex-boyfriend literally after he's been slashed, and the audience knows that he's dead. Like, this is probably the most last-minute character development that we've ever had.
Yeah.
Because she runs over, you've been stabbed, and he goes, long time no see. I'm an actor. Please hire me for something else, because I'm leaving this show, right? That fucking shit that they always do when a character's dying. Yeah. And then he's back in the thing. Oh, I feel a little hot, but anyway, let's talk about it. Was it real? I don't know. Maybe it was some whole thing. Fucking dialogue to say all this shit. And I'm like, oh my god. Because it's bad enough when I don't know you're going to die, but I know because you're doing that. I know he's going to die now, so this is literally at past the last minute. You waited past the deadline to, like, develop a character. They could have met 3 episodes ago, and she could kind of have a thing going on.
Yeah.
And then they're stabbed, and then it makes sense that she'd be like, let me go visit you, and can I get, do you want to drink some water? Are you okay? This is her thing now where she's, like, putting down the barriers, because before I was like, it wasn't real, and now she says, you know what, at the end there, that's part of why I left. It was kind of real. And he goes, oh baby, and it's all good, and then he fucking becomes a zombie and it's horrible. Right? That would have been great.
Do you think Dwight had his arrows dipped?
That's a wonderful segue, because that's the other thing I fucking...
Because Dwight purposely shot her.
He has to shoot Tara, because, like...
To avoid Simon from stabbing her.
Simon's gonna hatchet
now,
her.
There's 2 ways of thinking this. A, does Dwight even know the arrows are... He knows the arrows are dips and stuff. He knows that people are fighting biologically. But you could see it as even if he didn't know, all right, I'll shoot her in the arm, because that won't kill her, but Simon's going to stab her in the head. I can save her. Or he does know, and... wants her to die slowly.
So I forget. So like
it would be the ultimate twist if you saw him one more time and he was like, "I killed you, girl. I killed you too," and he was a double crosser the whole time.
I would love that. They would never do that though.
No, they won't. But
I
think
be
that'd be so good.
That would be the best. If then he kills Simon and goes like, "This was my plan all along. This is the way it is."
I thought he was going to kill Simon for a long time now.
I thought he was going to shoot Simon in this scene. But he shoots Tara instead. Okay, so again, with the autism, I'm fucking confused, because when they're in the bedroom and Daryl comes in and says, Sabers did something to their weapons. First of all, did something to their weapons? Like, what are the options? What are you talking about? Did something to their weapons? They obviously, they dipped their weapons in zombie juice. Like say something, whatever. Fuck. But now everyone's getting, like, infected. And Tara goes like, oh, God. Well, Karma's a bitch, and like feels like sad, right?
Yeah.
As if she's gonna be infected now, right? But as far as I could tell, she also has no symptoms, and everyone else already became a zombie at the exact same time, and she was shot at the exact same time everyone else was like exposed.
Yeah, but
so what the fuck's going on?
Potentially, because she got shot in the arm, it could take a little longer.
I don't know. It looked like the back, the shoulder area, or like whatever.
I thought she was. She was doing this. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
She was cradling her like shit, but I didn't know if that was a clavicle injury. Again, it was so dark and shitty. I have no idea.
Yeah, I want to say that Dwight is still on her side. Dwight didn't dip his weapon, and Dwight shot her to save her. Yeah. And I think that's what we're going to have. That's the ultimate redemption thing, and Daryl will start to believe. Or Daryl will find out a moment after he's killed Dwight.
That's the kind of cliche normal shit that they would, like normal mainstream ugly shit that they could do. I would like that too. But they have a little dialogue, right, where like she's like, "No, Dwight's cool though," and all that stuff.
Yeah. And
she even kind of says like, he just flesh wound. He's my boy." And Daryl's like, "What the fuck?" And she's like, "I might hate him forever, but he's cool." And I'm like, "Okay." I really hope she's infected. I really hope she dies a horrible zombie death.
I don't like her character very much, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And for what that would do to the story, it could be interesting.
Because imagine Daryl with like a gun to Dwight's head and him being like, "I didn't know." And he's like, "You didn't know?" And it's just this fucking awesome thing. And it's so good. And then like,
I don't know if this gun's loaded. And he shoots it.
Let's see what else you didn't know. It's just gravelly voice, whatever. Oh, it's fun. I would love that.
He pulls the clip out. He leaves only one bullet in, and he goes, "We're gonna play Russian roulette." That's not how it works with a clip. Shut up.
It becomes Deer Hunter. Yeah, it's awesome. I would love this.
No, but it's not a revolver.
No, it's just a clip. Yeah, it's a magazine. It's fucking like again, it like hurts me to watch things that could be good and just the same whatever shit happens or whatever the fuck. So I don't know if she's destined for death.
We'll know early in the next episode if that's going to be a thing.
I assume so. It was not clear to me, but like emotionally, it kind of felt like she's going to die now. But none of the timeline or the symptoms or anything.
But when has that ever stopped us? Some people turn the moment they die. Some people turn 4 years later somehow.
Exacto mundo.
What else happened in this episode? I feel like there's some more meaty giblets.
I have so many notes, it's hard to read them all.
Hit it off. What do you got?
Sadiq and the Grumpy Doctor.
Yes. What the fuck was up with her deal? And have we ever seen her before in life?
Okay, good. It's so good that you're saying these things, because I'm like, I forget this character. I have no idea. I thought there was a huge...
I didn't know they had a doctor. I thought they had nothing. There was a big shortage.
I thought there was a huge problem with them not having a doctor, and part of why I think that is because...
they said it?
Like, Michonne and someone else just said something about how, well, like, Carl took a risk, and now we have a doctor, or something like that. And now... Yeah. And so, like, is she from the kingdom, and did that not count as having a doctor before? Because she's here, and why is she here? And if she was already here, because she didn't just get here, why was that dialogue 2 episodes ago about having a doctor now? I don't know what the fuck's going on.
She could just be a nurse or someone that has like maybe she's gained field experience.
Yeah, that's fine.
And he actually went to school for it. They didn't explain it. We don't know who this character is. I have no idea.
Based on their exchange, she's not
a bitch.
Based on their exchange, he's not better than her at like helping deliver the baby. I know that because she's like, "Fuck off, you suck,"
pretty much,
or whatever. And like that was the cliche thing of like, prove myself and let me prove myself and stuff and whatever. It's fine, but like, yes, I was like, "Where did you come from? Who are you? What's going on?" And she dies, and I'm like, "Okay, fine, never mind. Scratch that. I don't care who you are. Delete that off the list." Fine.
Yep. And dies in the goofiest way. She's like, "There's blood here." Ah, and she's dead.
Again, though, that's like I would love to be critical of like that stuff in the show, of like zombie stuff, right? There's all this other bullshit happening constantly instead of just the normal zombie stuff, right? Zombies are quiet, they don't make noises like humans do, so maybe there's a zombie somewhere and you didn't realize he was there, because you walk into a room and you can tell, does the room feel empty? If someone's hiding behind the couch, you get like a sense that someone's in the room. You hear something, you feel it, kind of, but a zombie wouldn't do that. A zombie could just be behind your curtains. You just think it was part of like a lampshade thing on his head or whatever. It's fine. I don't know. Next thing, Graves. Archer lady is like, "You're a good leader," and they're burying all these people, and there's more people to have to bury later, and it cuts like a wide shot, and like it seems like before there were like 10 graves, and now there's like 12 graves.
Yeah.
But like 50 people or 100 people have died. It makes absolutely no sense. It's so distracting to show that stuff.
Ugh. What do you think is gonna happen next episode?
Nothing about that. Okay. God damn, I have no idea. We didn't see Negan and Jadis at all this episode. We might see them again. There's no one else. Everyone's together, right? So we saw the King this episode. We saw Maggie. Rick is back from his little adventure.
He's back
and talks to people. So there's no like other place to cut to really now, right? We're gonna find out what became of Henry. Morgan will probably be off doing something crazy.
Or we could have a whole episode and not know what happened to Henry.
That'd be so there's like one of two ways to do that.
Because we haven't seen the King in a minute.
He was in this episode.
He hasn't had an arc though. He
Yeah,
didn't
exactly.
do anything in this episode.
Well, that's what I mean. But everyone's physically in the same location. They have no reason to leave. So
yeah.
Next episode might be some people deciding to go somewhere for some reason.
You'll get Negan, I think, for a while next episode. Because if you don't, what's happening? Like what? Like
that
where
would
is
be
he?
good.
Why are we
yeah.
not knowing anything? And what do you think it's even going to be? Where is she taking him? What would they do?
What could the plan possibly? It could be anything. So I can't even predict it or whatever, right?
Yep. I would love if somehow she just takes him to the city, like the seaside people. She's like, "Here's Negan."
Come on, ladies, let's be friends and kill Negan. I'm in the club with you.
Can't happen. It's also dumb, but I like the idea.
No, I don't know.
Are there any other notes for this?
Yeah, quick things. So there was the horrible musical sting that I wanted to point out.
What's that one?
He wasn't bit, but he turned. Boom. There was a fucking like noise they played, a soundtrack noise. It was fucking horrible. Zing! This fucking horrible thing. Also, wait a minute. You can't just shove zombies away now? I wrote that down at some point because literally in the previous episode we were very critical about like there's a fight with Rick and Negan and they're just shoving the zombies away.
Yeah,
and
it's based on the plot.
I remember saying at the time, like, well, that wouldn't work. That's like shoving away like a bobcat or something, right? If you shoved it away, it'd be like, oh, arms for me to eat, and he would just immediately start to like fold in on it, right? And they can bend in weird ways, and they're not concerned about anything. They're just going for you, right?
Sure.
So if you tried to do something, it would just be horrible. And it's like, well, it was dark, and they got like the drop on them or whatever. And it was dark when Rick and Negan fell, and they fell, and they got in a car accident.
They were in a fucking pit.
It was horrible. So we've already beat that to death or like whatever, but this is a perfect example of how like sometimes you just shove them away and everything's fine. And honestly, in this episode, once the named characters showed up, they did just kind of shove them all away and it was fine. But a lot of death and like an incalculable amount of death where I'm not even sure how many people died here or like what happened.
No, yeah, and that's the whole thing with the numbers on the saviors is there's no way of like you could
On
even
both
if you
sides,
added up
yeah.
every bullet.
Right.
Oh, well the in our house of good guys, it seems like they lost half.
Sure.
But it was all the no-name idiots who don't really
Bunch of
attribute to
extras,
anything
I know,
anyway.
yeah.
And they get more and more of those every week somehow. You're like, oh, I got more idiots. Here, take those.
It's like, hey, we haven't talked to me yet, but I'm a blacksmith.
It is shocking, though. Like, if that's all the good guys are right there
yeah.
from 3 camps, there are not many of them left.
And I wish so the problem...
Like, Hilltop had a lot of people,
yeah.
and fucking the Kingdom had a lot of people. Alexandria had been
like
dwindling, but...
Yeah, some of those early shots of the hill of the Kingdom when like Carol wakes up there and she's like, "This is fucking ridiculous," right? That whole thing. You saw like a bunch of people with baskets and things happening, and all these things, and like various things have happened that kill people. But I at this point it's so chaotic, and I have no idea how many people there are in each place.
No, and you could easily say that a million are in other rooms, other things, because they have all the little trailers and the bullshit there.
Sure.
There's like the blacksmith's house or whatever. So
Is
like
there a
they could be
blacksmith?
everywhere.
There should be a
I think there is. Isn't it like an old-timey village like where the Amish
be a
would live?
blacksmith, yeah. No, I feel like if we really sat down and looked at like just this thing, we would find all these problems. Wait, if there were like 100 more saviors during this episode, why did this happen like this? Wait, if the Kingdom has 30 more people, right? Because then, like, when a bunch of them die and the king comes home, there's like 6 people, like, oh, we're sad now or whatever, right? Because their loved ones are gone or something, and they had to like ask for like, no, really, we need everybody else to come fight. That's why Henry was like, I want to fight or whatever, right? So they're already tapped out, it seems. But then, if you go back to those really early ones and you think and you like watch the scenes and count, you're like, there's 120 people at the kingdom. Wait a minute, and it's gonna be like, this doesn't add up. This is crazy or whatever.
Well, how many died from just that like minigun or whatever the fuck that thing was?
Yeah.
That killed a shitload of people.
Oh yeah, that was like 30 to 50 people. That was a lot of people. So a lot, but yes, a lot of people have died. But it seems like you're saying more people just keep showing up. I'm never clear about what the stakes are, who these people are, why they're dying. If it's
Yeah, no, a lot left to be desired in the numbering tally system of who's alive and who's not. What the actual war can consist of. I think we're going to look at a thing of like 30 versus 30 or something at this point, and that's going to be that's the remainder.
I'd be happy with smaller scale stories about zombies and humanity.
Well, you're not getting that. All right, guys, so this was this episode of The Walking Dead. Let us know in the comments below what you think about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
Hello, internets. I just love watching JustDaggers. If you've enjoyed this video as much as I have, click that subscribe button. Peace out, homies.